my name is Shubhangi. Honor to speak to you.
I'm riding in very extreme weather. It's raining very heavily. Winds are very high. I don't know if you can see. If you see the road, you would know. Maybe they'll send you some shots from the other cameras, which are crazy. Right now, it's completely… visibility is bad and raining heavily.
Well, this is wonderful. You as a 65-year-old are putting many youngsters to shame right now.
They are all smart, I'm stupid, I know what to do. What I saw was in the last 2 years, I've been talking to all sorts of people, and then I realized everybody in the government, wherever I go, scientists, bureaucrats, ministers, everybody knows what's the problem, and everybody reasonably knows what's the direction of the solution. So problem is known, solution is known. They were just waiting for an idiot to bell the cat. They got me. Here I am.
Like to quickly let the audience know that, Sadhguru ji is currently on his way to Paris as you embark on a 100-day, 30-kilometer lone motorcycle journey spanning 27 nations in Europe, Central Asia, and the Middle East to mobilize nations to save our soil before it's too late. So, Sadhguru ji, I know that, you have been talking about this campaign, and it's truly a very unique one and an important one at that. So, what is your progress and what is your plan for India when you come back?
Well, today is day 18, and we have covered over 10 countries now. Right now, I'm heading towards Fontainebleau because I'm speaking at the INSEAD Business School. 5 o'clock, I need to be there. That's why I'm going through this extreme weather condition, just to get there in time, because 5 o'clock people would have assembled. So, the response on ground has been absolutely spectacular, I should say. People everywhere on the streets and the general citizens and in the social media, it's big. But the political leadership, the second line of leadership is meeting us. Agriculture ministers, environment ministers, bureaucrats and others meeting us, many of the members of the parliament. But we are not able to meet the heads of state as it was promised. Many of them had promised to meet us and take this ahead. But now everybody is citing the Ukraine situation, the refugee influx, and they are preoccupied with that. And they don't want to be seen doing anything else other than talking about the war. Because of that, we are not able to connect with heads of state, but it looks like 1 or 2 are going to come through. But Central Asia and Arabia is going to be much, much better because the top leadership there is right now being primed for this. India, as you know, we had launched the Rally for Rivers movement over 5 years ago, and that movement brought about the necessary change in the river policy, and almost in, except for a few minor things, almost in toto, the government made this as a recommendation plan for the 28 states. Based on this, we started manifesting what's called as Kaveri Calling Project in 83,000 square kilometers. 5.2 million farmers live and work there. And looking at the success of this on ground, the UN agencies joined up. Now 4 to 5 UN agencies are with us, the top agencies like UNCCD, FAO, World Food Programme, UNEP and IUCN, all of them are partners with us. Looking at this, the government of India made a detailed project report for 13 river basins. This is very important to understand that in a tropical country, we have to handle the river basins because that is how our geography and our agriculture functions. So they made 13 river basin detailed project reports. We've been wanting to get some action on it. Fortunately, about 8 days ago, Government of India announced 19,000 crore budget for these 13 river basins. This is a fantastic step because this covers 67% of India's agricultural land. If we manifest this or make this a reality in the next 8 to 12 years' time, In many ways, India's soil is above the crest. So it's a great move. Still there's a lot of work to do, but at least we are moving in the right direction.
Sadhguruji, I'd also like to ask you, a little bit of a different question, but, the food crisis currently in Sri Lanka, which was, partly triggered by a 6-month ban on chemical fertilizers, and the experiment to go completely organic for them failed. So, world's dependence on chemical fertilizers, manufacturers, and raw material suppliers is huge. So what are your views on the problem as chemical fertilizers greatly affect soil health?
The chemical fertilizer is not a problem, it's a solution. It is a solution which has saved us from many famines. It has saved millions and millions of lives. So I do not know how this could happen in a nation. I don't know who advised them like this to go for organic farming. This organic farming, these words are the fanciful entertainment in urban societies. People who don't know a thing about farming, they are trying to tell the farmers how they should farm. It's nobody's business to tell the farmer how he should farm. The important thing is to enhance the richness in the soil and leave it to the farmer how he farms. If you want to buy food which comes from a certain type of farm, that is a market mechanism that you have to create for your own well-being. But
yes,
today, if we take away all chemical fertilizers and pesticides and insecticides and stuff, believe me, the world's food production will come down to 25% of what it is right now. That will be the worst disaster on the planet. So I cannot believe that a nation like Sri Lanka has done this. I don't know on whose advice. This is over-enthusiasm. This is not the way. If you enhance the organic content in the soil, the usage of fertilizer will slowly slide down. So we need to regulate, we need to adjust the chemical fertilizer as it is needed for a given field, rather than saying ban it, do this, do that. This is coming from upstart enthusiasm. Urban people trying to tell a farmer how he should do it. Please, if everybody, just talks about this, keep the soil alive, make it rich. How a farmer does his farming, leave it to him. Then in the marketplace, if you create a demand for certain type of product, naturally he will grow that one.
That's a very pragmatic approach, Sadhguruji. Thank you. Also, I just like to, let you know that, what about the use of manure, and are we promoting that to save, soil health for farmers? The use of manure, essentially.
See, if what you call as manure is just organic content, there are only, this is something young people should get it into their heads properly. Why I'm saying on this is, I'm talking to people around the world, particularly the youth. Everybody thinks there is an app to make manure, because they're ordering their food on Swiggy and Piggy and whatever else. I don't know what are the other apps. So the food may get delivered to your house or your doorstep by Swiggy, but Swiggy cannot produce food, an app cannot produce food. Somebody has to cook it. For them to cook it, somebody has to grow it. So thinking that technology will deliver this is a very wrong idea. There are only two sources of organic content, not just on this planet. In the known universe, there are only two sources, plant material and animal waste. There is simply no other source of organic content. So one thing that we are pushing for, one thing we have done in the last 27 years in southern India is, we have asked farmers to convert 10% of their lands into trees and other bushes and a few animals. Together, they will produce enough organic content for the remaining 90%, and the 90% of land that you plow and farm, that will create more produce than what the 100% was doing. And above all, the input cost comes down significantly. We are also running 23 farmer producer organizations where these are being implemented. This is the way forward. Enhance the organic content, create rich soil. How much chemical, how much to use, not to use, is the judgment of the farmer, because there are 14 different types of soils. Every soil doesn't respond the same way. They need different kind of approaches. Generally, traditionally, The farmers know this, their field, what kind of soil it is and what they need to do. So it's very, very important this is done judiciously. About manure, you're essentially talking about little cultured organic content. Well, that has to be done, but right now you may be making manure for the quantity that is necessary for your home garden or kitchen garden or whatever you call it, but that is not possible to do for the entire agricultural requirement on the planet, because 71% of the world's land is under farming. You cannot make manure somewhere and transport it. You have to produce the necessary organic content on the land itself. Otherwise, it will never work.
Now, so, as you've been pointing out about youngsters, today many sitting in the concrete jungles of our cities see soil as dirt that is omnipresent and unlimited, right? So what would you like to tell those people? The urgency of saving the soil.
See, the young people need to first of all understand, if it's possible, in India it's not at all difficult. If they just step out of their town or city, right there will be some farm. If they can interact and find out if they wish to, but otherwise, we can just tell you it's very simple. The food that you're eating, whatever life that you're seeing, including yours, whether it's an animal or a bird or a tree or a worm or an insect, or whatever animals you've taken liking to, like dogs or saving the tiger or panda, because these are all fashionable things. Whatever living thing that you see around you is a product or a consequence of what's happening in the soil. So keeping that soil alive for yourself and for future generations is most important. The only way you can keep it alive is to feed the life that is there in the soil. When I say feed the life, a handful of soil has 8 to 10 billion organisms, 50 to 75,000 species in India. If you take a handful of soil, that is the kind of life you're taking in your hands. So how many species are there? Millions and millions of species. Today the soil scientists are openly admitting that they do not even know 1% of the species of organisms that are there. The complexity of their activity is too enormous for anybody to figure out, because they are manufacturing life. You and me have been manufactured from that. You and me are alive because the food that we eat and the air that we breathe and the water that we drink. In all these three aspects of food, air and water, soil is the main thing, because before organic, the microorganisms like especially fungi and algae in the soil, before they started making this tremendous magic of cooking their food using solar energy nearly 1 billion years ago, which we today refer to as photosynthesis, the atmospheric oxygen was a shade over 1%. Today it is 21%. That's why you and me are breathing, even with a mask on, you can still breathe because of 21% oxygen. Now, in the last… the photosynthesis on this planet has… this is a plan for total… So, I'm not able to see you, I don't know if you can hear me. Are you there?
Yes, you're totally audible.
Okay.
Please go on.
Okay. So, this is important for everybody to understand that the land that we use for agriculture, either there must be crops, that means some kind of green leaf. If there are no crops, there must be a cover crop. If there are no cover crop, there must be weeds, there must be grasses or bushes or trees. All the time the land must have some green leaf on it. That is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis means the plant or the green leaf is capturing carbon from the atmosphere, turning it into carbon sugars and pushing it down into the soil, which the organisms are waiting for, that is their food, and it is releasing the oxygen as waste material, which is what we need for our existence. So, this much every youth must understand, that it's the green leaf which is the magic. It is a green leaf which is giving us the air to breathe. It is the green leaf which preserves water in the soil, because the root system and also the organic content enhances soil's ability to store water by anywhere between 3 to 5 times in volume. So, whether you talk about water or soil or food, nutritious food, clean air, pure water means rich soil. That needs to happen. So what they can do right now is all of them today possess these instruments that they call as smartphones. If you
Yeah.
have a smartphone, you must make sure from now on at least you can do a little bit of silly messaging, but don't spend a whole time doing silly messages on a smartphone. Even the phone is getting insulted by what you say, probably. So use this. This is a powerhouse in your hands. Never before in the history of humanity we had this capacity to communicate with the whole world sitting in your own home. Do this, use this in the next 100 days, reach the world, get 3 to 4 billion people, 3 to 4 billion people to say something about soil. They don't have to support me. They have to speak about soil. They have to express their concern about soil. Write to your Prime Minister, write to your a member of the parliament, write to whoever. Create a certain amount of noise. Use your voice, your digital voice, to ensure that soil becomes the narrative on the planet, because if you make this happen, if you move 60% of the world's electorate, which amounts to about 3.5 billion people, if you do that, we will ensure the policy becomes a reality in 192 countries. I'm addressing the COP15 in the month of May, where 170 nations are coming together. Already nearly 60 nations have signed up with us. The remaining 110 will come through if you move 3 to 4 billion people, because democratic countries are such. In a democracy, the most important currency is numbers. Create the numbers. This is what you need to do, young people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sadhguruji, and I wish you the best. I hope more and more nations get on board with this wonderful initiative. And thank you so much again. Namaskaram.
Let's make it happen, huh? Boom.
Absolutely. Thank you.